Yeah, so yeah, it's known to be like one of the hardest math classes, I don't know, in the world or something, but it's definitely a tough course. And like the scientific name, it's covers like abstract algebra. So that'll be like linear algebra and group theory, the first semester at least. And then the second semester gets into like real and complex analysis. So it's just, I think it's a very popular class in terms of difficulty because they say that like the amount of students that take the class, it starts off with like 50 kids the first day. The second day, that number drops by half. And then by the end of the first few weeks, there's only 10, 15, 20 kids that end up actually taking and graduating from the class. And they always say it's like you'll have IMO and USAMO medalists in class with you. So you know the difficulty is way up there. And also it's just the amount of coursework that's covered. They say is like standard in a full 4 year curriculum. So you're packing 4 years of material into one very dense and quick moving year. So it's just yeah, it's suggested for students that are really looking to focus in math and kind of push their math capabilities. So I think that class is something I definitely want to try. It'd be yeah, yeah. So abstract algebra is the first semester.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. Yeah.
On the live or in the meet?
On the meets, it's all right.
Maybe you did not join the audio. Like,
So if I open this and open this, then you have a echo problem. This is weird, but anyway, let me try and let me do one thing. Let me do one thing. I'll just record this session, and hopefully that would be um, okay. Okay, so okay, now I see. I see. They can hear you. They cannot hear me. I see. Okay. Okay. I see. All right. Now I think let's see. Let's see how that can be fixed. I'll ask you some questions, Anushka and Aryan, both of you. I think many people are interested to understand about your preparation journey. Okay, toward these places, because many people are interested to know how they can reach these seats of knowledge and do some great work with some great people. So the first part is, what are the exams you faced? Like I think both of you took SAT perhaps, and
I didn't take it.
okay, so there you go. you see, rules and exceptions to the rules. Anushka says she did not take the SAT. Aryan, did you take the SAT?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So SAT is usually mandatory, but I think just because of the pandemic, it became test optional recently.
Yeah, they did not consider so I did not take it.
okay, so for this year, I think SAT was not mandatory because of the pandemic, but otherwise. So, Aryan, could you tell us about a ballpark score that you think would be a good place to start?
So for the SAT, so I didn't take ACT, so I can't really speak to that. But the SAT, I think if you're aiming for some of these like top schools, my ballpark was always like high, like 1550 and above. So you want to aim for like the upper half of the 1500s. And obviously as close as you can get to the perfect 1600. But I don't think that there's too much of a difference between like a 1600 and the 1590 and the 1580. Like that's all like one question here or there, and that's just dependent on are you having a good day or did you miss bubble one question. So I don't think that makes too much of a difference. But as long as you're in that top 1500 range, I think it's a good spot.
Okay, that's great. So, how much time did you invest in preparing for SAT? Because you had other things going on, right?
Yeah, so I didn't spend too long. So I pretty much started studying a few months before, probably half a year, maybe even a year. And that too, it's just I focused on the English section, the reading and writing. The math isn't too bad, I think, if especially if you've been like preparing for math competitions, then the English and the yeah. Could you hear me?
Yeah,
I
now
think
I
it
can
cut
hear you.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. So I didn't study long. I don't think it was too bad.
Okay, okay, I see. So coming back to Anushka, what other exams did you take? I know that you took, for sure, both of you took several mathematical olympiads. Anushka, could you tell us about what are the olympiads that you appeared for, and what were your like scores and
Yeah, I
achievements?
qualified INMO in eighth grade. After that, I participated in EGMO thrice, and I'll be participating in April as well. This April at Hungary,
So
and other
just
than
to
that,
interrupt Anushka a little bit, I would like to say this to everyone who is watching. Anushka, when she says she qualified for INMO in eighth grade, it is INMO is the Indian National Math Olympiad. So after that, it's like USMO if you're taking from United States. It's the final level of mathematical Olympiads in India. And eighth grade means I think she was one of the youngest. Okay,
I was the youngest
so
one.
Anushka is the youngest, was the youngest INMO awardee at that point of time. So that is awesome. And then EGMO is European Girls Mathematical Olympiad. Is that right? Okay. And
Yeah.
uh, so fantastic. She did really well in those counters, and that I think really helped, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it really helped.
Great. Uh, Now let's come to Aryan a little bit. Aryan, I know that for sure you took the AMC, American Mathematics Competition, right? So could
Yep,
you tell
yep.
us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the AMC is, I'd say, the most popular high school test that students take in terms of competition math. So AMC 10 and AMC 12, very similar tests. AMC 12 is just slightly harder because it's geared towards 11th and 12th graders. And then it's just like performing well on the AMC, you ultimately want to qualify for the next level called the AIME. And that's like, it's called the American Invitational Math Exam, and it's so the combination of your AMC score plus your AME score eventually qualifies you for the next level, which is the USAMO, which I think I mentioned earlier. So these are just the most popular math tests that you want to take, and these are purely computational. You just write down your integer answer. So I think these were important, but at the same time, there's some of the other tests that are more proof based, and they give you practice writing out your solutions. So they're a little less popular, but there's still a lot of people take them. One of the biggest ones is the HMMT. So it's actually the Harvard MIT math tournament. Um, so that gives you some practice with harder level problems that are a little bit of computation, but also a lot of proof writing. Those type of tests are also to take.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. So, of course, performance in the mathematical Olympiads really helps. I think so as well. Uh, as a teacher or as a person who have worked with other people over the years, I have seen that this has been a very useful component of the application process. Now, there are two other components which are, I think, personally equally important. Uh, if you have some sort of a research project, maybe that helps. And if you have some sort of a work experience, even at this early stage of life, that helps. These are obviously my assumptions. And Anushka actually started teaching at Cheenta as well after a
Yeah,
certain point of time, very early. I mean, she was
ninth.
yeah, I think, yeah, she got INMO, and then she started teaching. She was in ninth grade when she started teaching at Cheenta as well. And then she also ended up working on a project called Center for Girls in Mathematics in Cheenta. And then her sister is also planning to join that. So that's, I hope something nice will come out of that. And Aryan, on the other hand, Aryan actually participated in several activities, projects. Could you tell us a little bit about that, Aryan?
Yeah. So the most recent one, I worked with like the business development team with Chinta. I did like an internship there, and we basically developed a curriculum for after school clubs here in the US that basically give teachers or like high school students the material you need to start like a math club to help prepare students for competition math. Just because we realized that in school you don't learn much of the math you need for like competitive math. It's more of the academic basic geometry, algebra, which is very different than what you need to compete in like the AMC or the AME. So we designed this curriculum, um, like 26, 30-week curriculum, and it covers all of the biggest topics that you need to know for these competitions. And it includes like handouts, homework problems, solutions. So it's like it goes the full 9 yards. I think that product's been going really well.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah, yeah.
just to make sure everyone understands what Aryan is saying, uh, if you go to our Chinta North America YouTube channel, you can see that Aryan has dozens and dozens of videos that he made for this particular project. And it actually stands on a research project that he did earlier, which applied graph theory to contest mathematics. So he tried to create a model of efficient learning in for contest mathematics, particularly for AMC. So it was a very interesting experience. In fact, uh, it was one of our, so Chinta started these research projects about a couple of years ago, and Aryan was actually one of the first kids to take such a research project. So I think it's a very interesting learning experience, and he did really well in there as well. So that's great. And the third thing is the um, so if you have a great Olympiad experience, if you have some sort of a research project, and if you have some sort of a work experience or teaching activity, I think these three things combined makes your journey very exciting, and it's also very effective in the long run for this sort of uh, career approaches. In fact, if you whoever is watching right now, if you are a student, I see Shorodip is here and some other kids are here as well. Um, You can also check out the Math Circles program at Cheenta. Math Circle is working with rural kids. So it's a free program for kids in remote corners of India, and kids from other, so Chinta students basically, they are mentoring these kids. So that's a sort of a work experience that you can readily use. And you don't really have to be a Chinta student to do it. Anyone can do it. You just have to, and it's free. What you do is you just help these kids, rural kids, uh, twice every month, and it's a wonderful experience. You meet people who are farmers kids, who are aboriginal people's kids, I mean, who have first generation learners. So it's very nice actually. And just I'm putting out there, basically I'm pitching for more volunteers for this particular project. It's my dream project actually. If we can take the Olympiad experience from urban India to rural India, then I think great things can happen. Anyway, so we will be wrapping up this session right now, but we will keep on asking Aryan and Anushka for their help and their tips. But for that, um, you can shoot us email at helpdesk@chenta.com. Right now I'll take some audience queries and then we will wrap it up. So we have some people in YouTube watching, and then there are some people watching in the Google Meet. So you can unmute yourself and ask your question. First raise your hand if you are in the Google Meet. Raise your hand and then I will ask you to unmute. And in YouTube you can obviously put your query and I will ask Aryan and Anushka about that.
Sir,
Yeah.
okay, somebody has sent a text
Oh,
on
someone
this.
is sending a chat. Oh, okay, I see. Uh, oh, the rural kids actually, that's a great thing. It's a positive side effect of the pandemic, in even in the and Reliance Geo, I guess. Even in the remotest corner of India, there is some sort of internet connectivity, and they all have mobile phones. So it's not only for India, people from outside India are also participating. The rural kids are in India, but the students are from California, from different other places, from Mumbai, from Calcutta, from different places of the world. They're the leaders of the groups. Okay, there is a question by Soham Pednekar and Prachi Deshpande. I'll ask Prachi's question first. Did either of you appear for any AP exams? Prachi Deshpande is asking this question. So whoever wants to take it.
Okay.
Yes. So I took I think 10 AP exams so far. And then so basically in school you take AP classes. So my school offers three different levels of classes. The most basic is called CP or college prep. Then you have honors and then AP. So AP classes are the most like rigorous classes, and then at the end of the year, you take AP tests, and depending on how well you do on the tests, you can send the scores to colleges, and some schools even accept class credit and say, okay, if you got a good score on the AP test, you don't have to take this class once you get to college. So in 10th grade, I took three AP classes, three AP tests, and then I had seven, 6 or 7 last year, and then this year I'm taking another 6 in May. So I think AP classes are definitely a great way to show rigor and like the fact that you have the capability to keep up with quick and difficult material. So yes.
Anushka
I
says,
did not take
yeah,
APs.
Anushka did not take any AP exams. That's there. And Thomas Reddy is asking that how. Okay, let's see. How many colleges did you apply for? This is to both of you, Aryan and Anushka.
In US, I applied for five. I applied at five colleges: MIT, Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, Cornell. Only MIT's result is out yet. Others are on 6th April and 1st April.
And what about you, Aryan? How many colleges did you apply?
So I applied to seven. I had more ready. I was planning to apply to more, but then once I heard back from Harvard, I didn't apply to anymore. So I had, because Harvard, I applied early action. It's called restrictive early action. So I heard back December 16th. So anything after that, even though I had a lot of my school essays and applications ready, I didn't hit submit because Harvard has been my dream school. So I knew I wouldn't go anywhere else once I got in.
Okay, that's great. So one last question I'm going to take. This is from Soham Pednekar. So Soham is asking that what are some of the key steps that were undertaken by you on this journey to Harvard and MIT? I think this was answered by both of them, Aryan and Anushka, all through this discussion. Of course, it included SAT, it included AP courses, it included Olympiads, it included research projects and or extracurricular activities like teaching or creating business projects and so on and so forth. So, is that all? Do you want to add anything to that, Aryan or Anushka? Maybe you can.
No, I think that's most of it. I think just the last thing is so part of your application is essay writing. Every school asks you to write a few essays. So essays is one of the things where it's can be challenging for students that are more STEM focused, but essays are definitely a huge part of the application. And I think if you tell a nice enough story in your essays and it's a unique and a very like moving story, that a lot of times goes a really long way in getting you into your school.
Okay, so I am supposed to wrap it up by now, but I do have to take one last question. So I'll quickly answer Sagia Mary's question about language barriers in the Math Circle program. There are several English medium schools in the rural parts of India at this point, and we are initially collaborating with those. There is one Bengali medium school that we are collaborating with at a very farthest tip of India, and then there we are only uh, assigning students who know that language as a group leader. So Deepak Goyal is asking for scholarships for the courses selected, and Angelina Riza is asking for the MIT application. What were the four EC you listed? EC. So I don't know what that means.
Elective
Elective
courses.
courses.
Okay.
The ones I
The ones
chose
I
are
chose are
mathematics
mathematics.
and computer science, cognitive science, and along with that, chemistry was there in the order.
Okay. So that is good. And
And
one last
scholarship is financially. Initially.
scholarship is financial aid. One thing I know, and maybe Aryan and Anushka can respond to that. The application is need blind, and then you apply for some sort of a funding if you are admitted, right? I mean, you automatically apply to funding opportunities. Maybe that's
Yeah,
the.
you apply for financials along with the application, but it is need blind. So you will only get scholarship if you get in, obviously.
Okay. So that is about it. Thank you, Aryan and Anushka, for joining us on such a short notice. I know plenty is going on for both of you. We will keep on talking to each other, and I will give you. I'll try to, from my end, I'll try to give you more resources and networks that you can use going forward with your academic journey. And thank you for joining in today. Thank you, everyone, and whoever is joined from YouTube or Google Meet. Take care. Bye, everyone. Take care.